Looking for a destination that has it all? Mountains, turquoise rivers, epic waterfalls, caves, beaches, and even a Mediterranean vibe? Well, that place actually exists and it's called Slovenia. And yes, the color of the Soča River is so blue, it honestly doesn't look real.
Normally we spend our summers chasing the best beach destinations, but this year we wanted something cooler, less crowded and a little different. That's how we ended up in Slovenia. And let me tell you, even though it's smaller than both the Netherlands and Croatia, it's overflowing with things to see and do. We actually struggled to fit all the highlights into just 2 weeks. But yes, we swam in Lake Bled, hiked through Triglav National Park and even chased some waterfalls.
So in this video, we're gonna show you the ultimate Slovenia itinerary, how much it really costs, all the things you should and maybe shouldn't spend your money on, and tips that will make your trip way smoother. And before we start, we want to apologize beforehand for all the wrong pronunciations of the sites.
You can roughly divide Slovenia in 4 regions. First, you've got the Julian Alps with the famous Lake Bled, Bohinj, the Soča Valley and of course Triglav National Park. It's basically a nature's lover's dream. Then there's the Karst region, which is all about dramatic landscapes and insane caves like the Postočna cave and the UNESCO listed Skorčan caves. Seriously, these caves are on another level.
If you head east, you'll find Pannonian Slovenia. Picture rolling hills, endless vineyards, wide open plains and some of the best natural spas and thermal waters you can imagine. Perfect spot if you love wine or just need total relaxation. And then there's Mediterranean Slovenia, the little stretch of coastline. Towns like Piran look like they've been lifted straight out of Italy with colorful houses, narrow streets and that laid-back seaside vibe. Totally different from the rest of the country. And right in the middle you've got Ljubljana, the capital. It's small, charming and honestly you can't skip it.
So we did a road trip through Slovenia and that's really the way to do it. The country looks small on the map, but the roads wind through mountains, so getting from A to B takes way longer than you think. A lot of people just stay in Ljubljana, and that's fine if you're only doing quick stops like the caves or Lake Bled. But if you really want to see all the different regions, you've got to move around. Otherwise, you'll spend half your holiday stuck in the car instead of actually exploring.
Now, don't get us wrong, the east of Slovenia must be amazing too, but for our trip and the itinerary we recommend, we mostly focus on the areas northwest and west of Ljubljana. Also, while it's great to have a set itinerary, it's just as important to stay flexible. We were initially planning doing a loop, but because of bad weather in the second week, we ended up spending 5 days in Soča Valley, 3 at Bohinj Lake, passing Ljubljana towards the coast for another 4 days, only to drive back via Ljubljana to Lake Bled area. As you can tell, we ended up zigzagging across the country just to dodge the heavy rains.
So based on our travels in there, we put together what we think is the ultimate 7 to 8 day Slovenia road trip. The road trip starts in Ljubljana, the capital, but you can start from any other point along the itinerary of course. We only spent a morning and afternoon in Ljubljana while heading from Bohinj to the coast, but whoa, we really loved it. The colorful buildings, the relaxed vibe and that river flowing right through the center. It's just such a nice place to wander around. And the best part? The city center is pedestrian only, so it's perfect for strolling, grabbing an outdoor lunch and people watching. Make sure you check out the bridges, walk along the river and if you've got time, head up to Ljubljana Castle for the views.
Next up, we recommend heading north towards one of the lakes, Lake Bled or Lake Bohinj. They're only about 30 minutes apart, but they feel like 2 totally different worlds. Lake Bled has been a tourist hotspot since the 19th century. Back then it was all about healing waters and fresh air. Nowadays it's packed with hotels, restaurants and tour companies. Meanwhile, Bohinj feels way calmer. There isn't much action around the lake, giving it a chilled vibe. Perhaps that's why we enjoyed Lake Bohinj more than Lake Bled. Our advice, if possible, spend at least 1 day at each.
In Bled we rented bikes and cycled around the lake, went for a swim and of course tried the famous Bled cream cake. Totally worth it. Then we headed out to the parking lot of Vindkar Gorge, dropped the bikes and boarded the free shuttle bus to the gorge. Vindkar Gorge is one of the most popular gorges in Slovenia. It was busy, but with the strict time slots, it was well organized. It's a 2.5-hour walk through and absolutely stunning. Definitely worth it. Cycling around Lake Bled was so easy and relaxing, we wish we had made time to hike up to one of the viewpoints too. So if you go, don't miss that. And if you've got more days, you can rent a rowing boat to the island, take a tour through the castle, explore hiking trails, drive up Verčič Pass and visit Lake Jasna.
Over in Bohinj, we started our day with a hike through Mosnica Gorge, probably one of our favorites. The water, the rock formations, the forest, it was all so natural and peaceful. On the way back, you walk along the other side of the gorge, so you get a whole new perspective. If you go all the way, you'll even find a waterfall, so give yourself enough time. After that, we headed back to Bohinj Lake, rented a sub, and just paddled around the clear waters. It's amazing. You can also opt for a boat trip around the lake or grab a rowing boat to explore yourself. Later, we tried to visit Savica waterfall. We actually tried various times to visit this waterfall, but rain always decided otherwise. At our third attempt, success. But honestly, we found it a bit overrated. The path was too structured, and once you get there, you're kind of stuck behind a fence on a narrow staircase. Beautiful waterfall? Yes. Worth the hype? Not for us. If it's crowded, it would have been even worse. Instead, we recommend heading up the Vogel cable car. You'll get absolutely epic views over Lake Bohinj.
From the lakes, we suggest heading to the Soča Valley, an absolute must. Make sure you take the scenic route of 2.5 hours along the Verčič Pass to get to Soča Valley. Popular bases at Soča Valley are Bohinj, Kobarid or Tolmin. Bohinj is the adventure hub. Kayaking, rafting, canyoning, paragliding, you name it. We spent a day in Bohinj by visiting the Slap Virja. Went for an incredible kayak tour down the river and towards the end of the day headed north of town to Soča Gorge. A stunning spot where daredevils literally jump into the icy blue river from crazy heights. The Boka waterfall, Slovenia's highest waterfall, is just outside town and we could have easily added this to our day in Bohinj. But our son was having too much fun jumping in the water, so we had to let that one pass as it was getting dark.
Kobarid, on the other hand, is a smaller, super charming town with easy access to gorges and waterfalls. We spent the morning hiking the trail to Koseska Korita. There are a few waterfalls along the way, so you can spend a whole day hiking through this nature park searching for waterfalls. We stopped at the first one for a quick snack and even a little plunge before heading back to town for lunch. One of the highlights in Kobarid is the Napoleon Bridge, where you get this stunning view of the Soča River and the surrounding mountains. From there, it's just a short walk to the parking for the Kozjak waterfall. The trail itself is beautiful, winding through the forest and along the river, and the waterfall at the end is really unique. The only thing, you can only view it from a platform. And honestly, if it had been busier when we were there, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much, especially after already experiencing some of Slovenia's other incredible waterfalls. Still, it's one of the most popular ones for a reason. Other less popular waterfalls that you can visit are Slap Krampes and Slap Zvino. When visiting Kozjak waterfall, we still recommend bringing your swimming gear with you. On the way back, at the bridge you can go for a swim in the incredible water.
Our base in Soča Valley was a campsite right at the river near the town of Tolmin, which is best known for the Tolmin Gorge. This was actually the first gorge we visited in Slovenia and we really loved it. But to be completely honest, if you only have time for one or two gorges, we'd say Vindgar or Mostnica Gorge felt a bit more special. Still, if you're in the area, Tolmin Gorge is absolutely worth the stop. If you visit the gorge in the morning, you've still got plenty of time to explore more nearby. You can head to the charming town of Kanal for a coffee or lunch, continue on to Mostna Soči for a swim in the lake, and then check out either Slapberry or Slap Sopota. Both are beautiful waterfalls where you can actually swim. We loved Slapberry, maybe because it was our first one and the pool was bigger. But Sopota was lovely too. If you can, do both. And honestly, the best part of this whole area is just the Soča River itself. It's unbelievably blue and clear. We couldn't get enough of it. We camped right by the river and spent hours swimming, chilling and just enjoying the views. But even if you don't camp, you'll notice lots of cars parked along the main road with little trails leading down to the water. It's a must-do.
This region has so much to offer that you could easily spend an entire holiday just here. Besides the gorges and waterfalls, there are incredible trails too. For something more adventurous, there's the 5-hour hike up to Lake Cairn, which sits at almost 1,400 meters. Or you can take on the Mangart mountain pass, the highest mountain road in Slovenia with incredible viewpoints. And for the hikers watching, the Soča Trail is an absolute dream. We only did a small part of it, but it's stunning. If you've got more time, there's also the Ljubljana Trail, a 267-kilometer trek circling the Julian Alps. That one is definitely on our bucket list for the future.
After the mountains, we drove down to the coast. Slovenia's coastline is short, but the towns are very charming. Think colorful buildings, cobblestone streets and Mediterranean vibes. We stayed nearby Izola, a cute little town which is like most along the coast. We of course visited the popular and picturesque Piran and even popped over to Trieste in Italy for gelato and Italian pasta, and Bohinj in Croatia. But a heads up, beaches aren't the highlight here. A lot are concrete or just rocks. We saw people sunbathing between boulders in Piran and Izola. Still, we did find a small sandy beach near our campsite and ended up spending a few evenings there, which was perfect.
On the way back to Ljubljana, you've got to stop at one of the caves. We visited Soča, and it was one of the most impressive things we experienced on our trip. The scale of it is insane, but cameras aren't allowed, so you'll just have to take our word for it. Postojna is the bigger one, complete with a train running inside. Plus, there's Predjama Castle nearby. We went for Soča because we got this idea that it was small scale and more natural. I think the train ride at Postojna Cave put us off. If you've been to both, let us know in the comments which one you preferred. From the caves, it's only about an hour back to Ljubljana, traffic depending.
And that's the route. Mountains, lakes, rivers, coast, caves, you really do get a little bit of everything. For all these destinations, we'd recommend at least one night in Ljubljana and a minimum of 2 nights in the other spots. So you're looking at roughly a week. But of course, it all depends on your vibe and how much you want to explore. We personally love hiking, but for this trip, we focused more on hikes to gorges and waterfalls. Die-hard hikers, you could easily spend days just exploring all the trails in Triglav National Park or along the Soča Valley.
We also missed out on the stunning Fairytale Pass, which is popular among hikers but can be reached by car as well. It's about an hour drive from Bohinj or Lake Bled. And like we said, we didn't head to the eastern part of Slovenia, known for its rolling hills and beautiful vineyards. So there's definitely more to explore than we have shown. We just want to give you an idea of what you can do in a week. It's kind of a blueprint to help you plan your own trip, depending on what you love to do.
Okay, before you start packing your bags, let's be real. One of the first things we asked ourselves was, is Slovenia expensive? Honestly, it wasn't as cheap as we expected. We thought it would be a little more budget friendly, but here's what we actually spent. We went camping and paid an average of 65 euros a night for the 3 of us. We checked hotels and guest houses too, and in high season expect to pay at least 100 euros a night for a comfortable place.
Food? Well, this is where it gets tricky. We don't eat meat, so maybe that's why it wasn't great for us. Most meals were pizza. Surprisingly, pizza is served almost everywhere. We also ate lots of gnocchi and stews. On average, we spent 60 euros for the 3 of us per meal at restaurants. And supermarkets, pretty similar to the Netherlands and Germany. We usually spend around 20 euros a day stocking up for lunches or dinners on the go. As for activities, this was our big surprise. We were hoping to try kayaking, rafting and even ziplining, but each activity was around 70 euros per person. So we picked just one, kayaking, and it was amazing. Honestly, worth every cent.
We drove our own car, but if you're renting, expect to pay around 30 plus per day, depending on the season and the type of car, of course. You need a vignette to drive on the toll roads in Slovenia. You can easily arrange that one online and it will save you a lot of hassle. This costs €8.50 a week or €32 for 4 weeks.
And how about entrance fees? Well, gorges and waterfalls varied a lot. Some were just €4 per person, others like Vinker Gorge were up to €15 per person. Postonia Caves, including Pedjama Castle, is €46.50, while Skorchan Caves is €22. And parking? That was all over the place. In Bled we paid a painful €4 an hour, but in Isola we found a spot for just €1 an hour. Oh, and Savica Waterfall had a minimum of €5 parking fee, which just added to our disappointment there. So basically, it depends on the popularity of the destination and how close you want to park near the center.
So in total, you're looking at anywhere from €120 a day on a budget. That's camping, self-catering, free hikes, to around €250 a day if you mix in hotels, restaurants and some activities.
So overall, Slovenia isn't the cheapest destination in Europe, but it's also not crazy expensive if you plan smart. For us, it was totally worth it for the landscapes, the hikes and the outdoor experiences. Okay, so before you go booking those flights and packing your bags, let's go over a few final tips that will save you stress and make your Slovenia trip even better. First of all, driving. Overall, driving in Slovenia feels super safe. The roads are really good, but every now and then you'll get tested, especially when the streets get narrow in little towns or if you, like us, take the wrong turn. For example, when we were looking for Slaberi, Google decided to send us straight into the mountains on the most ridiculously narrow road, only for us to end up at a dead-end farm. Lucky the farmer's daughter spoke English and told us, "You should be searching for Slaberi parking instead," which makes total sense in hindsight. But man, that drive was stressful. It even made us decide not to try the famous Mangard mountain pass, which is also known for its crazy narrow roads.
Next up, money. Cards are widely accepted, but we noticed that a lot of tours and smaller places really prefer cash. So definitely keep some euros on you. Also, book the big attractions in advance. When we were there in August, the Skorchan Caves were fully booked for 2 days and the Vinka Gorge had limited time slots. So yeah, plan ahead. And here's a big one. You don't need to see every single gorge or waterfall. Entrance fees add up quickly and honestly, the less famous free waterfalls were our absolute favorites. Especially the ones where we could actually swim.
Now, packing tips. Bring good shoes and a rain jacket. Even if you're not planning on big hikes, you'll end up walking a lot. And yes, it rains quite a bit, so definitely bring that raincoat.
As for crowds, we were there in the high season and it definitely didn't feel like some underrated hidden gem. It was busy. But here's a trick. Most sites are open until 8 PM in summertime and they'll get really quiet after 4 o'clock. Some of our best experiences were late in the afternoon when we had places almost to ourselves.
Finally, Slovenia is a super active destination. Everywhere you look, people are hiking, biking, kayaking, moving. It's a perfect place to immerse yourself in nature. We went in summer, but honestly, I think spring and autumn would be just as amazing. And winter, imagine those mountains, rivers and forests covered in snow. That must be stunning.
So yeah, if Slovenia wasn't on your travel list before, I'm pretty sure it will be after this one. With its mountains, rivers and coast all packed into one small country, it really does have a little bit of everything. If you've been to Slovenia, let us know your top tips or favorite places in the comments below. And if you're planning a trip, tell us what's at the top of your Slovenia bucket list.
Found this video helpful? Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more travel guides, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!